hope you guys find a seat soon. Today, our topic is going to be about the purpose of a life. And leading us in musical worship is going to be Brett. But before we begin, before we begin our time together, I wanted to read something to you. Let us take a moment to close our eyes. Have a deep breath. Exhale. Center our hearts and set our intentions for today's gathering. Ethos is a community of men and women committed to creating safe spaces where people grow. We excel at accepting, affirming, embracing people and their stories, and we value living committed, caring, helpful, and open-minded lives. We come together with specific intentions. First, we come to connect with one another, with ourselves, with those around us. We welcome those of you who are new and invite you into our circles of connection. Second, we come to learn. We bring our beginner's mind into this moment and acknowledge our humility, honesty, and teachability. Finally, we come to be together, be human, be ourselves, be kind, be caring, and to open to all that awaits us in the place today. Amen. Next, I am going to invite Brett to have our little worship. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, good morning. I think one of the rules for participation in Ethos up front today is that you have to be feeling under the weather. I know Tony and I have that in common, so I really need your help singing along today, okay?
Yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. I am unwritten. Can't read my mind. I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. You ready, Ethos? Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten. I break tradition. Sometimes my tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Drench yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
Amen, amen. Thank you. Let's give it up for Tony, ladies and gentlemen. Tony. Tony time.
How's everybody feeling? Do you remember when that song was on the radio? Yes. That's so good. And I love that you always add this like swooning kind of voice to it. Whatever the song is, you make me melt, Brett. You make me melt. This week, I had a chance, Megan and I did a little bit of videoing, and it was so much fun because when you're passionate about something and someone asks you to talk about it, it just kind of comes out naturally. And for the first time, I didn't have a script when I was doing video. I just talked. And what came out was this is what we are. We're a values-driven community, and everyone's accepted in. And if you disagree or agree, that's okay. We're here to have a conversation. We're here to grow. We value growth. We value people becoming the very best human being they can possibly be. And when that happens, we want to celebrate with you at every graduation point in your life, knowing that you're never going to be perfect, because that's not even interesting, right? The idea is you're going to keep growing, and every chance you get, you have a community of people here that are going to hug you, love you, and embrace you, which is the same as a hug, and celebrate with you. So we've been going through this Walter Mitty series, but before I even move into that, I just want to take a moment, and he's going to hate this, but I don't care. Steve. He knew I was going to do it. But here's why I do this, because Steve is the last person that's going to be like, hey, look at me, look at me. I just want to say it's really awesome to have people like you in this group. People who genuinely care about people. Steve, again, for some of you who don't know him, he's part of TSA, a bunch of people who have not been paid for a while, right? And when Steve noticed that there were a lot of people who were still hungry, he took some of the food from the food banks and he went home on his own time. And Steve, if you know Steve, he's always busy, always doing something. And so Steve goes home and he finds time amongst being a good dad, good husband, great husband. He cooks all this food, takes it back to the airport, and feeds his fellow workers. And did that over and over again. And I thought, that's beautiful. That's community. That's gospel, right? And I could stop and I could actually put up photos of each and every one of you doing really beautiful things in the community. And so, Steve, we are so proud to know you and do life with you. But I also will say this, there are many other people in this room who are doing awesome, fantastic things, and we're all proud of you, and we're proud to walk with you in this journey. It's been so beautiful. So again, Steve, yeah, awesome. You kind of knew I was going to talk about it today, didn't you?
I gave a shout out to Ethos, but they just put Costa Mesa.
Yeah, they did. They said Costa Mesa Church. That's right. They're not ready for Ethos. They're not ready. Get ready, world. We're doing a Valentine's date night, 6 p.m. Saturday, February 16, Fire and Ice Grill. It's going to be fun. Hope you can join us. If you don't have a significant other, just come along. Just come along, join us. We'll all be together in community. It'll be fun. Yeah, we'll just pretend like here's my friend. He never talks back. Always in agreement. It's pretty awesome. we'll all listen to you, how you're able to have this fantastic relationship. Also today, after this gathering, we're going to do a movie showing. And a friend of mine actually wrote me today. He saw the post. He said, Tony and his friends are making church great again. He wrote that. It was so funny to me. But my friend Michael Denslow, who may be watching right now, but I thought that's really funny. But yeah, we're going to be doing a movie showing of this movie that we've talked about for the last 4 weeks. And so we're going to watch this movie. We're going to have a little pause button where you can say, stop the scene. I want to tell you why that scene meant something significant to me right here, right now. We're also going to have a taco truck right out there. So it's going to be really good. We're going to have tons of food. You don't have to go anywhere. You can be right here for the rest of, until 4-ish or 3-ish. Oh, yes, thank you. $8. $8 would be appreciated if you could give that to help pay for this. If you came here, you weren't expecting, you didn't have any money, that kind of thing, that's okay, because Lewis is loaded. He's going to pay for you. So we are so happy you're here today at Ethos. So let's keep moving. Walter Mitty, we've been using this movie because the movie essentially, we understood the movie essentially is showing us how to live the best version of you. And we also talked about how we have many books, many poetry, many narratives, stories, experiences all throughout our history as humans. We have the Bible, which many of us, we come together every week to hear about the Bible, to hear new, interesting things about the Bible. We also talked about how the Bible didn't stop at Revelation, did it? The Bible was people growing, learning, changing, writing, and you and I, we continue doing that. And so this series, we wanted to show you the gospel message of a new life more abundantly you can find just about everywhere you look if your eyes will be wide open enough. And that's what Jesus said over and over again. The kingdom of heaven, the gospel, is among you. And he was talking to a bunch of people, right? You are the living, breathing example, the gospel that continues going forth to all the nations. Is that good? That's really good. So we're using Walter Mitty and many other examples, but Walter has been one of the main points. So before we begin, here's a real simple question you can ask your neighbor. What do you believe is the purpose of, let's say, your life? I'm going to give you 5 minutes because this is a super easy question. I want you to turn to the person next to you. What is the purpose of, let's say, your life? Does your life have a purpose? Some of you are going to be like, I don't know. You're going to run outside in the rain, whatever. Existential moment. Do your best with the person next to you. What's the purpose of your life? If someone were to ask you, like right now, what is the purpose of your life? What kind of answer do you have to give? As the music plays, I want you just to take a few minutes, think about it, discuss it with the people around you. If there's someone not next to you, just go find someone. Meet someone new. That'd be great. Go for it. Wasn't that a fun question? It was 5 minutes. Goes quick. Nice. You're the first person to out-talk a Betty. Well done. No. All right. I love this question. What do you believe is the purpose of your life? Because I think 10 years ago, it would have been different. Maybe I would even say 5 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago. It's interesting how different events in your life will change, or alter a bit what the purpose is for you or what values you have. So we're going to talk about that, the purpose of life. Again, this is Walter Mitty. He is a negatives asset manager. Yeah, he develops film. He develops film. And again, what's beautiful about the character of Walter Mitty is he is essentially the personification of the development process. He is being developed through the whole film, which again is for us, it's this beautiful journey in how we develop as people too. Many of us will stay in certain places, not allowing ourselves to develop until someone finally pushes us, right? Walter had this experience. And so he's missing the one piece, the one picture that needs to be developed that's supposed to be the quintessence of life. And so it pushes him into this really beautiful journey of finding the one picture, again, the quintessence of life. The metaphor is all over the place in this beautiful film. And so Time Magazine has this great motto. It goes like this, and we have gone through all of these except for the very last. To see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life. And so today I want to talk about the purpose of life. How many of you growing up, you would say, well, what's the meaning of life? You'd hear people say that, and you'd laugh. What was that one movie, The Meaning of Life? That was kind of a weird one. Monty Python, thank you. I kind of feel like you missed it in some ways. What's the purpose of life? What's the meaning of life, right? We have had many people come up with different ideas of the meaning of life. I'm going to share with you many different perspectives on different answers you will find about the meaning of life. And I want to share first off, this to me is how wisdom looks. To me, different cultures, different religions, different perspectives, we're all picking from the same wisdom tree. We're all picking from the same wisdom tree. We're just picking at it from different sides, aren't we? And again, I find it really interesting because if you ask someone that is thousands of miles in Asia somewhere, they're going to pick the same wisdom tree, but their fruit's going to look a little different, isn't it? Might even taste a little different. Someone in Michigan right now is going to have very cold, dried-up fruit now. Wherever you're from, you're going to be experiencing wisdom differently depending on the epic narratives you've been told, the different experiences, cultural positions you're in, all of that. And so depending on where you are, the same wisdom is going to taste and look differently. But here's the beauty about what we in this 21st century have in our hands. We are able to have discussions with people outside of our cultures. And when I think we do that, the fruit that we have in our hands, what happens to it? I think one of two things. The fruit can actually get really sour and we can be really frustrated with it because now I've experienced a different fruit. Or you can say, it's the same fruit. It just tasted differently because I just had a new experience and now the thing is even better. I think some people will take it in a very negative way. I think there's a really beautiful positive way as well. Did that make sense? Let me share with you the meaning, the purpose of life. If you are a Buddhist, the purpose of life, again, to pursue happiness by essentially using knowledge and the practice of mental equilibrium, basically. For a Buddhist, you are learning to detach yourself from the idea that you're going to have perfect fulfillment. Anyone vibe with that a little bit? Yeah, there was a time in our history, especially like Christian history, where if you talked about Buddhism from up front, you would be booted, right? You would be out. I told that. Ooh, that was corny. Yeah, there's no place for that, right? But the beauty of this is that I can find something fantastic in that, because it seems like in our culture we're always chasing total fulfillment. But what happens when you get the car you've been looking for? You've been needing that thing, right? I finally got it. What happens? New model, 2 months later. Dang it, right? The iPhone, the next edition comes out the week that I get the new one, right? All of a sudden, the newer version. We're always trying to get the next best thing because we think we can be fulfilled. Whereas Buddhism says the life, the movement, the growth, the life that you live right here, right now, learning to live it is where it's at. You're never going to be fully fulfilled. Interesting? Beautiful. My Hindu friends, pursue happiness by acting virtuously, treating people well, everything well, living prosperously, enjoying life fully, seeking enlightenment. Again, everything is about giving and then learning to receive. Giving, learning to receive. Always seeking to learn and grow at the next stage of life. Beautiful. Taoism. How many of you used to say Taoism? So right now you're like, wait, what? There's no D? Yeah, Taoism, the ultimate goal is interesting because for them, it's just learning to live your life. Live it. There are good things and bad things in the world we don't demonize either. We just learn to walk in the midst of it all. Interesting, right? That's the Taoist approach. See what I just did there? Walk in Tao. Yeah, beautiful. For humanism, I have many humanist friends. They affirm that human beings have the right and responsibility to give meaning and shape to their own lives. And so the idea there is we're all meaning makers, right? We make meaning everywhere we go. And so for the humanists, they would say, live life fully by finding meaning in everything you do. Sometimes life doesn't always grant us a meaningful experience in some cases, so we grow from it, right? In tragedy, that kind of thing. Judaism, I love this. The goal of the Jewish life is to embody their writings, Torah. It's interesting, someone else said that. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Those are words for Torah back then. Who said that? Yeah, Jesus, who was a Jew. For a Jewish person, learn to embody this teaching of living life more abundantly. Become the thing you're reading, walk it, live it, breathe it everywhere you go. Jesus said, the kingdom of God, we've talked about this, is not coming with signs to be observed, nor will they say, look, here it is, or there, for behold, the kingdom of God is in the midst of you. Right here, right now. The purpose, the meaning of life, right here, right now. You can find it. Don't look for it out there. It's already here. You're already home. Anyone vibe with that today? You're already home. You've been struggling all week long. You've been trying to attribute meaning. You've been trying to search for the next best thing. You've been doing certain things that you thought would be fulfilling. The reality was you already have fulfillment right here, right now, and you keep reaching out when the reality is this right here. That's what Jesus said about the meaning of life. So I hope you notice something. Every single one of these said essentially the same thing. The purpose of life is to live it. How did that land for anyone right now? The purpose of life is to live it. Someone might say it differently. The purpose of life is to live a life of purpose. Tell me how that landed for you. The purpose of life is to live a life of purpose.
I feel like growing up, I was always told the purpose of life is to get to a certain place, and so I never lived my life. I was living for a future life.
Got it. Yeah. The purpose, anyone listening, especially online or over there, for Lewis it was, the purpose of life was always to get somewhere else, right? Whereas Lewis, you've got a hubcap now that says Kingdom Now. Or not hubcap, what is it? License plate. No, this is gonna be a long day. a license plate, Kingdom Now, right? Beautiful. Yeah, it's good. Anyone else? Purpose of life is to live a life of purpose.
I think going back with that, the development, before I used to think you had to live like other people around you were living, like your family or your community or whatever. Oh, everybody's doing this, so I have to do it. Instead of you're an individual person and celebrate what you have to give.
Nice. So good. Yeah, instead of always comparing myself to others, what do I have to give? What's good here? What can I share with the world? That's good. Anyone else?
It's cool you asked that question because this week I was talking to somebody that said, I looked back on my life and she's young. And she said, I had lived minimally. I had not stretched my wings and thought to myself, I can go beyond what I'm doing right now, and why am I living minimally? I said, those are great questions. Yeah, is she really living life, or is she just going through life?
She's about to have some really great experiences soon.
Yes.
Some really jarring ones.
Yes.
Yeah, those are the right questions.
Going back to what he said about how you live your life, how you think others are living, or you should. I find it to be different for me now in the sense that I want to be living my most authentic self, my to really embrace the good and the bad, and then continue to grow on that. And I think that sometimes we overcomplicate certain things. It's just simple, just be you.
I like that. Just be you. You embrace the good, the bad, and the ugly. How many of you ever find yourself trying to attribute meaning to things, and the reality was that there really wasn't meaning there? Like, your car blew a tire. Like, wasn't because you decided to stay up too late and watch another episode of, I don't know, Small World. If you're watching that show, you should stop. That's just weird. That's an old show. So maybe it is good that your tire blew. I don't know. We do that, don't we? We like attribute meaning to things that really don't. Yeah, it's weird. We want to keep attributing meaning to everything, and I think sometimes that causes us to stop purposely living. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
However, I'm currently experiencing a lot of backlash for trying to be authentic and living life, whether it's family or family. And I've always kind of gone against the grain, which has gotten me into trouble, but it's also allowed me to see things in just technicolor. And it's been really, really cool. And so it's a lot easier said than done because you want to live authentically, but you also care for people around you. And there's always eggshells within the path sometimes that you do walk, and so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But you want to find the balance of not having to live for others, still living for yourself. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, if life was easy, if finding purpose was easy, we wouldn't have all these books.
I did not know you were segueing into that.
We have, here are just some books I have read, and there are look up purpose of life, like books on the purpose of life. You will find thousands and thousands of these ones, because everyone's got a perspective. Everyone's got their own slant to it. What I did is I took time the last couple months, and I just started reading through a bunch of these books again, as well as looking through different perspectives from these different teachings of different religious structures and non-religious. And what I found was interesting, because all of them, deep down at the heart, the core of what most of these books say, you will find a lot of common thread. Some of my favorites, get your shit together, probably one of my favorites to read in public. But so many of these, when you read and you delve into them, they're essentially saying the same thing. They're just sharing their own experiences, their own stories. And so I want to share with you some ideas that I tried to bring it down to 5 about living a purposeful life. I couldn't do it. 9 of them is what I came up with when I was reading through. But here's one I thought was interesting. The first one I read over and over and over again was this: create a compelling future. How many of you have special boards at home, and you have written certain things on these boards, and you look at these boards? What do you call this board, Michelle? Your vision board. Yeah. How many of you have a vision board? Come on, be honest. Okay, a couple of you. Good. It's beautiful. It's a great idea, having a vision board. Why is that a good idea to have a vision board?
Because it forces you to sit with your ideas in front of you.
Good. It forces you to have to see it. And hopefully you're neurotic enough to put that somewhere when you wake up in the morning, you have to face it. Yeah? You wake up, you see it, you're like, oh man, I talked about this future. And am I living it? Am I moving toward it? Are there things in my life that are keeping me from it? You have these questions that will ultimately pop up if you're being serious about creating a compelling future, right? Another thing I noticed, know your whys. Anyone ever come up with this? Here's a quote from one of the books. It said, look at your schedule and what you're agreeing to. Do you know why? Do you know your why for them? If yes, then keep going. If not, start questioning if that's even something you should spend your time on. So I'm probably the only one in the room that does this, but let me just ask. Anyone in this room ever do things because you've just always done them? Anyone meeting with someone, like often, and you realize, like, I really don't even like this person. Why am I doing this? Anyone ever have like a phone conversation with mom or dad and you realize, like, why do I keep bringing up this subject again? Why? I know what the answer is. I know what they're going to say. Yeah, interesting. When you start asking whys of the time you're spending, of the things you spend your time on, certain answers will surface, and I think sometimes it causes us to have to change direction a little bit, doesn't it? Ask why. I think that's fantastic. Another one, know your mission. What's your mission? I'm going to throw this out for a second, and I want you to just answer honestly. What makes you angry? Go.
Inequality.
Inequality.
Injustice.
Injustice. Ignorance.
Deflection.
What?
Deflection.
Deflection.
Child abuse.
Child abuse. Thank you.
Misuse of power.
Misuse of power. What was that?
Being late.
Being late.
That's it. That's
You're hearing more. What was that?
Negative.
Negative people. Good.
Condescension.
Condescension. What was that? Being respectful. Well, not being respectful. Got it. Good. Babies crying. I'm just kidding. It's my child crying, so I can say that. One of my favorite things in the Bible, it says, when a thief is trying not to steal, the worst thing to do to tell a thief, the worst advice is to say, stop stealing. Right? What's that going to do? Nothing. However, if I give a thief something to do with their hands, what will they do? Yeah, you've given them something active to do. Their passion is doing something with these. What do? I give them something positive to work with their hands. Same with a vision. Same with a mission. If we can pinpoint the thing that we're most passionate about, the thing that makes us either really joyous or really angry, sometimes it's one and the same. Kids, teaching. Where's Ricardo? I feel like he should be. Kids, teaching. I wish I could see you passionate in your classroom. I could just imagine. Did you ever get angry? Oh, man, I feel like you have to. Outwardly angry, there we go. Whatever the thing is, that could definitely be one of those needle things pointing you toward a really interesting mission. Again, questions you can ask to move you toward a mission statement. What do I seem to gravitate toward most? What kind of people do I gravitate toward most? Right? The people you hang out with typically are going to be really good indicators for you as to what your passion is. For me, my passion has always been bringing people together and creating safe space for dialogue and conversation. When I got that, all of a sudden I began to understand that's the thing that I just love doing. I enjoy it. When I was a teacher, that's what I love to do. I sometimes wasn't always popular with parents because like questions about sex would come up, right? And instead of doing the typical like, well, you talk to your parents, let's say, Well, what do you think sex is? What do you imagine sex? What do you imagine your first sexual experience to be? I would ask the seniors this, and they'd be like, and then we'd work through, okay, well, that's interesting if you're Brad and, Angelina in a movie. We'd talk about that, expectations. We'd talk about all these things, and it opened up. We created safe space. I realized that's the thing that I'm passionate about. What a weird example to use. Let me keep going. Anyone ever do this? You have a lot of great ideas. You have a lot of things you want to do, but you always do them later, right? I'll do it later. It's good. I just feel like it's going to happen later on, right? Interesting proverb says, if you don't do it now, you'll never do it later. The things that you think are important now, you may not have the breath to do later. So do those things now. How many of you have a conversation right now you know needs to be had? There's tension between the two of you. You're just not and yet, we'll do it later. If you don't do it now, what if there is no later? If you don't do it now, there are certain things you're going to learn from it, they're going to build from, they're going to help you own the next step in your life. If you don't do it now, you may not do it later. Do it now. That was another interesting little tidbit I got from the books. Stop waiting for better times or circumstances. Things will never be ideal. You'll always be able to point at something to say, that's why I never did it. We're really good at being victims, aren't we? Why things won't work will always be there, but so will the reasons why it will. That particular one was Bill Gates. I like this as well. Baby steps forward. How many of you get an idea? You have the dream, you have the vision forward, and you want to do it immediately, everything at once. And if you don't, what happens? Yeah, you get frustrated, right? I'm going to be a huge success in the music industry. And you put out the one song, Brett. What's going to happen? Is it going to be overnight?
I wish.
Yeah. We just need to redden your hair a bit. Call you Ed. I feel like 10 people got that joke. When we decide to do something, whether that's to start exercising, eating healthier, or creating a more purposeful life, we have a tendency to get a bit too excited. Let me explain. At first, our goals thrill us. That's also when we can start being overly ambitious about what we can accomplish. Then, when we're having a bad day, our plan can feel rather overwhelming. What most people do then is quit. The idea isn't to run a sprint, but a marathon. Focus instead. Man, when I just turned this way, the whole thing changed. Focus on consistency instead of intensity. So take baby steps forward that you know you can keep. Better to beat your target than to fall before the finish line. How many of you does that land well for you? Yeah. Over and over in my life, that's been an issue for me. I want it now. I want the thing to explode. I want this, instead of learning to just sit, enjoy it, pull it together, take the baby steps to move it forward, right? So exciting for you. Can I just tell people you're an inventor and you're doing something really cool right now? Edward. Yes. Edward is here. He's an inventor. He's on the cusp of something really, really cool. And you're going to be hearing about it soon. But fair to say you had to take baby steps?
Absolutely. I learned to take them. I was wanting to see the end already manifested. So I was going to say earlier, I learned how to be disconnected from time. That's given me the most fearlessness I've ever experienced.
Nice.
And then baby steps are as fun as already seeing it finished. I'm enjoying every aspect of my existence.
And you're probably celebrating whenever you hit that next step.
Oh, I don't stop
It's
celebrating. It's always there's meaning in everything, but it just manifests. I don't try anymore. I quit trying. And then I was able to see from the end, my lunch happened already.
So good.
And I just feel like I can replay it like a video anytime I want.
Make sure you talk to Edward after this. Doing something really, really exciting.
Focus on one thing at a time. Again, rather than trying to do it all, be aware of your limitations. Do one thing at a time. Dedicate time, energy, commitment to it. Once you feel stable in that area, move on to another one. Timothy Ferris. How many of you have ever wanted the perfect body? How many of you realize the perfect body is not what you have been gifted with skeletally? Yeah, me too. So you do what you can. You know your limitations. I am probably never going to be super crazy ripped because I like food too much. I'm probably going to always enjoy a little bit of bread here and there. Maybe some butter on it. I don't know. I probably don't want to spend 8 hours every day in the gym because I kind of want to have something else to talk about with someone other than like their personal best bench press, right? Like I want to live. It's just not. This is gonna be a limitation for me. I have other commitments that seem to be a little more important. So it's my life. So I'm taking baby steps. I want to be healthy now, right? So my goal is no longer, I want to be ripped. I want to look like Brad Pitt on Fight Club. My goal now is I want to be healthy. I want to be Brad Pitt with dad bod. There we go. Like, that works for me. Dad bod. Learn to say no. How many of us, we were just talking about this. How many of us struggle when people ask you, Chanel, will you do this? Will you please just do this one thing? Do it, say it. No. Do you notice how she said it? No. Even your, no, I know. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? I think. Yeah, we're really good at saying yes to things we probably should say no to. And then before we know it, our schedules, what happens? They get overbooked, and we're really no good to anybody. Andy Stanley said this to a bunch of pastors who are really good at saying yes to everything and no to their families. Whatever you say yes to, you're also saying no to something else. So consider deeply what you're saying yes to. Anyone saying yes to things you know you probably should be saying no to? Anyone saying no to the important things in life and saying yes to a lot of stuff that really isn't? Because a purposeful life, someone living a purposeful life, they have that down. Like they can say no. Practice saying no. It actually feels really good sometimes. When someone asks you, no thanks. You don't have to be an ass about it. You can just, no thanks. Yeah. Obstacles are opportunities. How many of you freaking hate this already? Anybody with me? How many of you hate hearing this from people? Because every single one of these books had this in some way or another. Bruh, it's just an opportunity. It's just another opportunity. Or maybe you've heard this when people say this. They'll say, well, you know, God, he gives the storms as well as the sunshine.
Sounds like somebody who hasn't had a storm recently.
Thank you. Yeah. Someone who hasn't had a storm recently. But here's the thing. Everything has potential to teach us something, doesn't it? Just don't be the guy handing out the Hallmark card in the middle of someone's storm. All right? Like, don't be that person. But obstacles are definitely their opportunities to learn if you will allow it. If you will allow the thing, usually it's after it's been experienced, right? Like, no one is in the middle of the storm being like, what can I learn from this? You're just trying to survive, right? Like, literally just, I need to hold on to the mast and pray that I don't drown. Like, that's where some of us are.
Talking about when you share the story of how you got there. Not all the positive. You're already at that positive. You're talking about that crazy journey that got you there.
You're talking about the storm, what you learned, the scars you got, the limp you got from the thing. Every obstacle you face is another opportunity to learn
and stretch the vision you've created, the life you've formed. Embrace them rather than allowing them to halt your journey. So I'm in the middle of a storm. Do I give up? Or do I hold on as tight as I can, knowing I'm going to get through it? And there's going to be something on the other side of it. If that's the purpose, I'm gonna get something from this. It's going to be powerful. Here's the last one. Consume uplifting material, content. How many of you love to get on Facebook? How many of you love to watch me get on Facebook? Yeah. It's like, no. Yeah, I have a tendency to just for some reason, I'm just drawn to the worst conversations, and then I do even like the next step worse, engage in it. Like, how many of you do that? You've learned. I constantly do it. I'm just drawn to it. I don't know what it is. And I'm learning to like slowly, again, very slowly, learning to, I need just a meme that's like the, like the guy watching from beyond. Learning to avoid that kind of content. Learning to read uplifting, engaging content will actually draw something really powerful from us. Will actually grow. One of my favorite writers says, by beholding, we become changed. The things that we take in will change us. So if I'm constantly in conflict, like eating that material from Facebook or whatever, I'm constantly involved in that, I'm going to be a really negative person. My vision, I'm gonna have none. I'm just gonna be constantly going from one conflict to another. I'm gonna be exhausted and worthless to the world. However, when I learn to engage, consume uplifting things, everything, everywhere I look is beautiful. I see opportunity everywhere I go. Those are the conversations I look forward to. When someone tells me about their week, yeah, it's okay to like say it sucked. There were some things that happened. But also, it's really kind of fun to be like, but here's some really good things that took place too. Tim, you did that with me this morning. It was fantastic. You flipped the script and you found a way to say, but hey, I'm living. I'm married to this woman. This and this and this. Like, there's good things. You were able to flip the script. And that was nice for me. Walter Mitty. I was just thinking how you and I watched this movie so many times. Edward may have seen this movie almost as much as I have, which is amazing. Walter Mitty, when he begins engaging in his own life, when he begins to live it, he starts doing things. Again, he starts, instead of daydreaming all the time, which was his problem, he starts actually doing things that you and I would only dream of, that he would only dream of. He starts living his life, which again is the purpose of life. How many of you, when you saw this movie, actually, let me ask, how many people have seen the movie yet? Okay, good. So we're going to have some fun today. Walter, one of my favorite scenes, he is skateboarding down this huge road, and do you notice he puts his arms out, and what did that moment say to you when he's just doing this? Freedom. If he were to like shake a little bit in the skateboard, what would happen? Biff it, right? Like he would be a mess. Just, yeah. The beauty is he's feeling free. He says, there's danger here, but I'm going to go down this road because I know this road's going to lead to life. It's going to lead to the answers. And he just freely takes it, and it's a beautiful experience. He jumps from the helicopter, right? He jumps from the helicopter into the freezing water. He knows if I'm going to keep doing this journey, it's going to take a leap. How many of you are in these places right now where if you don't take the jump, you're going to miss the boat? Like, I think a lot of us are in these places in our lives right now where if we don't take the leap, if we don't do the thing, if we don't at least try it, that boat's not going to be there forever. So take the leap, right? Go for it. Sometimes there are warning signs that tell us maybe we should wait, but other times there are definitely moments where it's time to jump. It's time to do the thing. It's time to live your life right now. I love the romantic scenes that take place. Walter, again, we're going to see at the end, I'm going to show you one clip. Walter thinks he needs to be this guy, right? In the beginning of the movie, he had short hair. Do you remember? He was in his business attire, all of that. He thinks he needs to be this guy. What does he look like at the end of the movie? Do you remember? Scruffy, longer hair, tan. He looks kind of like that guy, but an authentic version of him. Would you guys agree? He begins to be the guy who's not afraid to talk to the girl, not afraid to engage her. He begins to live the life he's wanted to live, a purposeful life. Conflict. Walter has been terrified of conflict, right? Terrified. Some of us, we will do everything we can to avoid any kind of conflict, won't we? Or maybe not. Maybe I'm the only one. Anyone here not love conflict with people? If there's something going, yeah, you want to avoid it a little bit. Some of us want to dive right in. But Walter is terrified because he's not really living a purposeful life, and so he's terrified of conflict. Yet in the middle of the movie, he begins to engage in it. He does it in positive ways, but he begins to engage in it. Rather than dreaming of beating someone up, all these things, he begins to live it authentically. It's not a porpoise. Anyone? Yeah. Fights a shark. He meets these drug lords in order to go and climb this mountain, right? He gives them his mother's cake. He faces his fears. Everything Walter does, he is facing his fears. He's beginning to live his life purposely. And so for me, let me go back. For me, I hope that this whole conversation we've had the last 5 weeks, what I hope it's done for you is this. Number one, it's challenged you to say, I can find meaning and beauty and gospel everywhere I go. 2, I hope it's helped you begin to see that this life, the purpose of this life is not to get somewhere else. It's not to attain all of these things or this stuff. The purpose of this life is to find purpose and live it well. Anyone resonate with that? Sure. What is your purpose? Find it, live it. Live your life well. Live it to its fullest. And when you do, you've just found the meaning of life, your life, which is really the only life you have control over. When we understand the purpose of life was never about getting somewhere else, finding total fulfillment, or avoiding guilt and shame, then we are free to live fully in the present, learning from each moment how to be fully present and alive. The purpose of life is to live a life of purpose, to live life as fully as one can live it. A friend of mine, before I show this last piece, a friend of mine said a couple of years ago, he was in so much turmoil. He and I connect because he worked for a church that he wasn't able to be authentically himself. And he said he was so involved in so much anxiety and fear and anger. They said he was there with his kids at the playground, and he was watching them playing, but he wasn't really watching them playing. Anyone with me? He was sitting there, but he wasn't really present. And he was just sitting there, and as he's sitting there, an older gentleman came and sat down next to him and started talking to him, and my friend Dan said he heard nothing the man said. And he realized he'd been shaking his head and didn't hear a thing the guy said. So Dan quickly, you know what, I'm sorry. I didn't actually hear anything you just said. I am in my head right now. I've got a lot going on. Will you forgive me? Can I try again? And the guy says, absolutely. I was just asking you, who are your kids? And I was telling you about my grandkids. And Dan kind of felt sheepish. And so he said, well, that one over there, and he starts talking about his one daughter, how beautiful she is. Starts describing what year she is in school, some of her personality traits. Says that one over there is my other daughter. And he started talking about her and how much energy she has and this and that. And then he just started naturally talking about his wife. And he's talking and talking and talking. And afterwards, He kind of laughed and said, that's probably more than you wanted to know. And the guy kind of smiled and he said, no, I just wanted you to wake up. You look like you're going through something. He said, yeah, I am. The guy said, I hope in the middle of it, you know what's really important. Dan told me that in the middle of my own struggle, and it meant a great deal to me. There are certain things going on in your life right now. The purpose of your life is to live it well. Live it well with the people around you that you have here and there with your family. Live it well. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is here among you. It says it's within you. Live it well. Breathe it. Live it. You're already home. Live it well. If there are certain conversations that need to happen, have it. Have them. If there are certain goals you keep purposely putting out of the way because you're terrified, pick them back up. Ask the questions of those things. Begin to live that purposeful life, because when you do, I think what happens is you begin to see yourself as the hero of your own journey rather than the antagonist. So I'm going to leave you with this last video of the end of Walter Mitty, which I don't think spoils it completely. But I want to leave you with this, and afterwards Brett's going to come up and share some more music.
I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. I'm 33 for a moment, still the man, but you see I'm of age, a kid on the way, yeah, a family on my mind. I'm 45 for a moment, the sea is high and I'm headed into a crisis, chasing the years of my life. 15, there's still time for you, time to to buy and time to lose yourself within a morning star. 15, I'm alright with you. 15, there's never a wish better than this. When you only got 100 years to live, half time goes by. Suddenly, oh why, another blink of an eye. 57 is gone, the sun is getting high. We're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment. I'm dying just another moment, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. 15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel her too. 33, you're on your way. Every day's a new day. Ooh, 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 ooh. 15, there's still time for you. Time to buy and time to choose. 15, there's never a wish better than this. When you only got 100 years to live.
One of the phrases that Tony repeated often today was this desire to live it well. And you know, Tony, anytime that Switchfoot is an option, it's a necessity. I can relate to him, though. There's something about John Foreman and Switchfoot and their lyrics that they really get it. And if this is your first time hearing this song, I think you'll find that it goes hand in hand with what Tony said perfectly. But if you know it, please sing along. It's called Live It Well. Sorry, I'm really picky. Okay.
Take the burden from my arms. Take the anchor off my lungs. Take me broken, make me one. Break the silence and make it a song. Life is short, I wanna live it well. One life, one story to tell. Life is short, I wanna live it well. And you're the one I'm living for. Awaken, oh my soul. Every breath that you take is a miracle. Life is short, I wanna live it well. Yeah, I wanna sing with all my heart a lifelong song. Even if some notes come out right and some come out wrong. Oh, 'cause I can't take none of that through the door. Yeah, I'm living for more than just a funeral. I wanna burn brighter than the dawn. Life is short, I wanna live it well. One life, one story to tell. Life is short, I wanna live it well. And you're the one I'm living for. Awaken, oh my soul. Every breath that you take is a miracle. Life is short, I wanna live it well. Yeah.
The next part is very simple and yet very profound.
says, I got one life and one voice. And in spite of all the things that tell us otherwise, in spite of all the technology and the changes and the struggles, my one life and my one voice, maybe that's enough. It goes, I got one life and one voice. I got one voice. My bad. I'm not that simple. Okay. I got one life and one love. I got one voice, but maybe that's enough. 'Cause we're one heartbeat and two hands to give. We've got one last shot. Let's go back and start from the top. Ready? We got one voice and one love. I got one voice, but maybe that's enough. 'Cause we're one heartbeat and two hands to give. I've got one shot, one life to live, one life to live. Yeah. Every breath you take is a miracle. Life is short, I wanna live it well. One life, one story to tell. Life is short, I wanna live it well. And you're the one I'm living for. Awaken, oh my soul. Every breath that you take is a miracle. Life is short, I wanna live it well. Amen. You guys sound great. This last one is like a throwback for real. So there's no excuse not to know this one, I'm pretty sure. I'm just teasing. This is one of those songs that I heard as a little kid, and I never really got the meaning behind it until I grew and listened to it. Hold that thought. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring Marina out one more time. I was so excited for this song.
No, stay. I'll just move it a little. So I really thought I was going to find a quote to embody this, what I wanted to say today about donations and giving. And I love how what I'm actually going to say ties into everything that Tony talked about. So when a lot of you guys know that I'm in social work, but the reason that I got into social work was because I started volunteering to give back to the homeless community. And I was so frustrated that I had no money in my pocket that I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? How will I find purpose in giving back? So I want to invite you guys to, if you have the money, to either donate, donate to the church, donate your time, donate your love, donate what you have, and help us continue finding our purpose. Thank you.
Get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. And God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. Hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never feel the mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might be taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out, I hope you dance. And I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
Did anyone else experience those butterflies from hearing those songs? I was gonna do one thing, but I think I'm gonna do something else. That 100 Years song, I remember hearing that when I was probably close to maybe 18. And I haven't seen the lyrics posted like that, I don't think ever. And it was weird for me because I'm 38, and hearing them this time around, hearing 45 was like, wow. And then thinking 50 isn't that much longer. Some of you heard some of those numbers and you were like, that's me now. Like what? But then there's this moment in the song. I almost wanna, I'm just gonna, Joe's gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna find that song for you because there was a moment there that hit me. "15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel her too. 33, you're on your way. Every day is a new day." So here's what I'm beginning to realize about my own journey is I didn't leave 12-year-old Tony. I didn't outgrow him. I didn't leave 15-year-old Tony either, or 22, or 33. Here's the beauty of what's happened with my life and yours too, is that you and I, we have carried them with us to whatever age we're at. Name some of your ages right now. You're in a darker room, no one will know it's you. 58, 24, 31, 37, 82. I'm just kidding, I didn't hear an 82. All different ages. A friend of mine did this with me, and I want to do this with you right now. This is a mental exercise. I need you to close your eyes this time. I know not everyone loves to, but close your eyes for a minute as the music's playing. Because sometimes I think we've we've kind of demonized 15-year-old Betty, Kim, Leo, Tony, Chris. We've thought less of that 15-year-old, haven't we? Sometimes there are things we learned and things I think we need to go back to. Sometimes there are certain things we need to ask forgiveness for. Sometimes we need to tell those 15-year-old selves it's okay. So what I want you to do right now is simple. Each of us had a bedroom growing up where we felt maybe safe. I want you to close your eyes for a minute. I want you to just pretend you're sitting in your bedroom. I want you to look around. Look around the room, that room you grew up in. Just say out loud, what are some things you see there? Comforter, books, a bed, your sister, stuffed animals, fish tank baseball cards, posters, cassette player, your boombox. Look around that room, because for many of us, that was where we felt safe. And so that young self, maybe 10, maybe 8, I want you to do something right here. Because I think many of us, we have carried a lot of guilt and shame because we, in our lives, we don't feel like we did everything perfectly, do we? And a lot of us, we're carrying around a lot of baggage from the past. We're carrying around a lot of, I wish I'd done that. So here's what I want you to do. Whatever age you find yourself in right now, in that moment, in that bedroom, there's a knock on the door. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to just open it. Picture yourself opening that door. And there standing in front of you is one of the images. Picture an image of a person who you feel safe with, you love. For me, that person is Jesus. Whoever that person is for you. They're there at the door. I want you to pretend you're inviting Jesus in to that room. And now I want you to do this. I want you to just point to him all the different places in the room that you love. Your baseball cards, your aquarium, the blanket mom made you a couple Christmases ago. Show them around the room. Now here's the thing that Jesus needs to tell you. First off, you at 8 years old, you're loved. You're loved. And you're not going to do things perfectly in this life. And that is okay. You are loved and you're safe to live the next 40 years learning to be uniquely you. You are loved, you're accepted, and there are going to be people who are going to walk with you and lift you up. There are going to be people that may hurt you. But you are going to continue blossoming into the person that you were meant to be. You are loved. And you're safe right here, right now. No matter what happens over the next 35 years, 40 years, 100 years, it's going to be okay. And you don't have to carry the guilt and the shame and the fear with you on this journey. And now you, at the age you are standing in that room, I want you to hear your 8-year-old self say, I forgive you, and I love you. And we can walk hand in hand together into the next 50 years together. Amen, amen, amen. I want you to open your eyes. Brett, I want you to sing that song one more time. Can you do that? Let's do that. And I want you to sing along if you have a chance to, because I think it's such a beautiful song. And Joe, if you can just pull up those lyrics one more time for us. Are there any dry eyes left in here? Yeah. Here we go. Let's sing this song with Brett. 100 years.
I'm 15 for a moment, caught in between 10 and 20, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. I'm 22 for a moment, she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. I'm 33 for a moment, still the man, but you see I'm of age, kid on the way, a family on my mind. I'm 45 for a moment, the sea is high and I'm headed into a crisis, chasing the years of my life. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose yourself within a morning star. 15, I'm alright with you. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. Half time goes by, suddenly you're wise, another blink of an eye. 57 is gone, the sun is getting high, we're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment, dying for just another moment, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. 15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel her too. 33, you're on your way. Every day's a new day. Ooh. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to choose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live.
Close your eyes with me one more time. We are so thankful to be here in a community of people who are loving, who are affirming, a group of people who come together every week, who say we want to walk this journey together and grow to be the very best people we can be every day. And so today we want to carry with us all of the ages we've had before. We want to continue growing, embracing those ages, forgiving those ages, having grace on ourselves, knowing that with every age is going to be new successes and new blunders. But we're so thankful that we can have the courage to be able to step into the new life every single day, a life more abundantly. We're thankful for that today and the rest of our lives. Amen. Everyone, we want to thank you for coming today. We want to remind you Valentine's Day. We're doing the February 16th thing. And again, today in about, what, Joe, an hour? Taco truck? I don't know where Joe went. 1? Okay, perfect. So 1 o'clock. This is going to be so much fun. I hope you guys can join us. We're going to watch that movie together now that you've just heard about it. We're going to watch the movie together. We're going to eat some tacos and just relax as a community. It's raining out. What are you going to do? You're not going to go on the beach. You're not going to do anything else. You might as well stay here. So enjoy each other. Talk with each other, hang out. The taco truck will be here soon, and we're going to get the movie ready and set. We're going to have a kids area over there. We're going to have a fantastic movie showing for them, Smallfoot. Fantastic movie, very similar themes to what we're doing here. Anyways, everyone, we love you. Thank you so much for coming today. Meet some people. Talk to Edward about what he's doing. Fantastic stuff. All right, everyone. Blessings.